All right, the Saints hit the road 5.5 and 54 against the Bengals. It's a great spot for Cincinnati, but can you trust Dalton now without A.J. Green and a horrible, horrible Cincinnati defense from Mark Lawrence? They are 8-1-1 straight up and 10-0 ATS as home dogs against the NFC, but the Saints are 4-0 straight up in ATS on the road, and they're on a nice 6-0 run ATS as well, coming off the big win against the Rams.
You know, my take on this game has very little to do with the actual handicap. A priori, before we even talk about the teams, before we even talk about the matchups, here's the spot, all right? New Orleans, 6 straight covers, all right? The betting bandwagon has been growing by the week. So it's 6 straight point spread covers. They've had huge games each of the last 3 weeks. You know, that battle in Baltimore, and then up in Minnesota, and then obviously last week against the Rams. And now they're going on the road and laying more than a field goal. You can't lay with New Orleans here. It's betting 101. It's basic strategy. Huge bandwagon, group of huge games, laying points on the road, laying more than a field goal on the road against a team coming off a bye. You just can't do that. You're not going to make money in the NFL, short or long term, betting on teams like the Saints this week. All that being said, you know, there's a lot of issues with Cincinnati. Of course, the Saints getting Dez Bryant, I do not expect him to have an impact, a big impact in week 1 with Drew Brees, but he could have some impact. And of course, without A.J. Green, talk about Tyler Boyd. What do you think of Tyler Boyd? Paulie, you think he's the type of guy that can pick up the slack with A.J. Green hurt?
Well, I don't trust Dalton. I don't think he had the big catch against the Ravens week 17, but the Saints defense isn't anything to write home about either. But it's back to defense. This is the worst passing defense in the league. And these numbers, we know about Tampa Bay, we know about the Raiders and some of these other teams in Atlanta. The Bengals are right there in the bottom on all these key categories on defense.
Oh, my God. I mean, when you look at Cincinnati's aggregate defensive numbers, right now, at the midway point, they are on pace to give up more yards than any team in NFL history, Paulie. They've allowed 3,582 yards in their first 8 ball games. We talk about, oh, this Bengals defense, oh, Marvin Lewis and coach defense. All of that? Not this year. They haven't. That defense has been consistently underachieving. They might be better off the bye. And the Saints won't have Marcus Davenport this week, who's been a pretty good pass rusher of their own. I mean, you know, people telling me, oh, look, Geno Atkins having a great season. Oh, look, you know, Carlos Dunlap's having a great season. That Cincy defense, very hard to trust, even off a bye. Although from a yards per play standpoint, both New Orleans and Cincinnati have both allowed 6.3 yards per play, well below league average. No surprise here if this game turns into a shootout. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.